Okay, before we finish off this show, I thought it might be worth going back over some of the transfers that we're talking about in Cropper's Transfer Corner, and not specific like individuals or anything like that, and like if they're going to happen, but more just the idea that we probably need to calm down a little bit as Manchester United fans because these things happen all the time. We're never always going to get the number one target. Rarely does that happen. I mean, the number one target, if you think about it, it's not even Mateus Fernandez, as we talked about earlier. The number one target was Elliot Anderson, but Nottingham Forest
Mm.
decided that 125 million isn't enough to get him in. So, that's rightly so. Manchester United went, we're out. We're out. See you later. We're not paying that for him.
Yeah.
I think he'll go on
Good
to have a
luck.
fantastic. Yeah, exactly. He'll have a fantastic career at Man City if he does make that move under Enzo Maresca. But if United need to walk away, they need to walk away. So what I thought we'd do is I thought we'd go back through the annals of time and look at some of those sliding door moments where we didn't get the number one target, but then we got a different one and how that panned out. So I'm going to start with where it went well, and I'm going to we can just talk about them, how you felt about it at the time, whether or not you thought that we got the better deal out of it. But this is the list that I put together anyway. And we'll start with the most obvious one. Can you imagine which one I'm going to start with? Can you
Has to
tell
be
me?
Ronaldinho, right? Has to be
There
Ronaldinho.
we go. There we go. So Ronaldinho obviously chose Barcelona. I'm fairly certain it was Peter Kenyon that stitched us up in that deal as well,
Mm.
as he did
Yes,
with
it
Robin,
was. Yep.
as well. Because I think
Yep.
as far as the rumours went, Ronaldinho was keen to sign for Manchester United, and they couldn't agree a fee, so he ended up going to Barcelona. But
Mm.
from that, we ended up getting Cristiano Ronaldo. That was back in 2003. So in terms of how those careers panned out, would you have even swapped that? Or do you think we got better out of that? We missed out on Ronaldinho. We got Cristiano Ronaldo. The rest is history, so to
Ah,
say.
it's like swapping a 10 out of 10 for another 10 out of 10, isn't it? So it's a difficult one to have. Ronaldinho, because it was linked during, I think it might have been another World Cup, yeah. But you're right, it was Peter Kenyon when he made his move to Chelsea. So he just said, because Ronaldinho on his documentary, I think, says it was nearly done. It was pretty much signed
Mm.
for and done. And when you watch him at PSG, and because I can't remember how old I was back then, young, he were outstanding when he just got you really excited for him to come. So I was gutted when he signed for Barcelona, absolutely gutted. But then, like you say, Cristiano comes in and turns into best player in the world. So yeah, sliding door moments. You'd have Ronaldo, wouldn't you? You'd have
Yeah, of
Ronaldo.
course. And it was exciting because I remember back to when he made his debut against Bolton and he had that
Mm.
little bit of stringy
Noodle.
thing in his hair, that little bit of string in
Yeah.
his hair. He had the little blonde streaks as well, the highlights in his hair. And he came onto the pitch, this absolutely skinny kid, lanky kid though, came onto the pitch, started doing those step overs. I'm like, what's this? What's
Yeah.
this? I love this. Keep
Yeah.
going, lad. What is this? And he got he
Yeah.
got booted, didn't he? Every single time he got on the ball near the byline, the Bolton players were like, no, trying to clatter him, and he kept getting back up and going for it. And it was the first time in a long time when I looked at a player, probably since Cantona. I know that's it's a huge gap in that. But I looked at it and I was like, this, this is amazing. This is what football is. It's fantastic. And then it's like getting onto Pro Evo, right? Get him in the team, get him right. He's signed up for United. Get him doing the step overs. There we go. And
Yeah.
I think that
But
might have been the last time I was that excited about a player signing, if I'm honest. Apart from Rooney.
key word there, Nathan. Excited. You want to turn up. You want to go to Old Trafford, and you want these players that are going to make you excited. Cristiano Ronaldo did that. Obviously, Ronaldinho would have done that as well. But yeah,
Mm.
yeah, brilliant. I think we did all
I,
right there, didn't we? Off that one.
Yeah, I think in terms of excitement, we'll move on to the next one. In terms of excitement, this wasn't one at the time that you probably would have been massively excited about because of the person that we missed out on. But Alan Shearer, 1996, leaves from Blackburn, goes back to Newcastle, his boyhood club. Manchester United get Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and there's a very famous chant that goes on around the stadiums about him being uh, an expletive cheaper than Alan Shearer, which which we won't put in there. It's a family show, It's a family show. We
Yeah,
won't
yeah,
put it
yeah.
in there. But
For the kids.
that was another one where you think about that at the time, and you're like, "Oh my god, we've missed out on him. Missed out on the top scorer, absolute legend of a player." But then Solskjaer comes in and wins everything. Shearer wins 0, zip. Enjoyed his career, still Premier League top goal scorer even after all this time. But I mean, in terms of career paths, Solskjaer, show us your medals. Put your medals on the table. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a unknown quantity, wasn't he, when he came in, and we are like, "Oh, we've just missed out on Alan Shearer, probably the best striker in the world at the time," which he was. He was an animal, Alan Shearer, no matter what you've got to say against him, because he didn't come to United. Alan Shearer. When you do Premier League teams of the year, I always put Alan Shearer in there.
Yeah.
Always just think he was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, I was gutted when he missed out, but then to bring in this unknown quantity and then a finisher of his ability, like wow! And he never really started games, did he? But when he came on, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer produced, and all the players always say who's the best finisher. Solskjaer, no doubt.
I mean,
Probably go over Van der Sar, to be fair, but Gunnar Solskjaer was up there with him. If you're led to believe what they say.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the two biggest moments that Solskjaer gave fans of a certain age was obviously the Champions League final, scoring that goal um, against Bayern Munich at the new camp in '99, but also the who was it that who was it that he took down? It was a Newcastle United player, wasn't it? When
Possibly was, yeah. When he was clean through, wasn't he? Yeah, brilliant.
he chases it. For anyone that has not seen it, type in Solskjaer red card. I'm fairly certain it'll be the only result that comes up. But United lose possession. They need to win that game as well, don't they? Or they need to get a draw. He's like tearing down the pitch. I wish I knew what player it was. I'm fairly certain it's Newcastle. Comes tearing down the pitch. Solskjaer's running after him. Looks like he's never going to catch him, but he does because he lunges at him from about 20 feet away. Instant red card from Uriah Rennie. I love the fact, I think it's Raymond van der Houw that's in net. He comes out like briefly to kind of argue, "Oh, come on, don't send him." And then as soon as the red card's produced, he's like, "Yeah, fair." And then just walks back to his
Yeah,
goal. It's
yeah,
indefensible.
yeah.
Indefensible. But if you've not seen it, or even if you just
And
want
then
cheering up, go and watch it again. Yeah, exactly.
gets a
Old
full-on round
Trafford.
of applause from Old
Yeah,
Trafford. I mean, we've all gone. Yeah, you had to
yeah,
do that. Brilliant. Yeah, take your
yeah,
punishment. Well done.
yeah,
Free kick, Newcastle. There you go,
yeah.
winners. Yeah,
Exactly.
brilliant,
Exactly.
brilliant moment. But yeah, these moments, Nathan. If you believer in fate, Ole Gunnar
Yeah,
Solskjaer winning the Champions League for us, etc.
exactly.
That's the way it goes down. Yeah, no,
Exactly.
fantastic.
I've got quite a few more here, but I don't want to go through each of them in forensic detail. So I'll skim a few of these. But a big one that was kind of loosely linked to missing out. I think Manchester United always wanted a maverick. Sir Alex Ferguson wanted a maverick that was in the team that was going to get people getting the seats clacking, as we talked about, getting those standing ovations. And the person that he earmarked, or the player that he earmarked for that role, was Paul Gascoigne. So Gaza was the one that he wanted for that role,
Mm.
and it looked like it was going to be done. And he actually, if you read his autobiography, Paul Gascoigne's autobiography, which is great and it really reveals the tortured soul of a man, by the way. Like it's a really, you can tell why he's in the state that he's in now. Put it that way. But he promised Sir Alex Ferguson that he was going to join, and then Spurs gave him a call, and then that was it. It was done and dusted. He went to London instead, and would Fergie have been able to contain that? Who knows? No one knows that. But United missing that maverick, they then ended up turning to Eric Cantona from Leeds United, who I still cannot believe let him go for the amount that they did. I think it was only £1 million that they let Cantona go for, which is ridiculous. So missing out on Gascoigne, getting Cantona, not a bad one, that is it? Not
No,
bad.
it's not. It's not, is it? Who are Cantona in that shirt with the collar up? Yeah, legend, isn't he? He's a legend. I'll just throw this out there. I loved Gaza as well at the time.
Mm,
Thought Gaza was brilliant, and you like to think that if he was brought into Manchester instead of went to London under the guidance of Sir Alex, he probably he wouldn't have had the personal life that he would have had. I think it probably would have been reined in a little bit more. Whether it would have worked out or not, I don't know. But yeah,
I've got
it's like
yeah, I've got my opinion is that Gaza is a tortured soul and has been from day one. And I don't think there was any saving his trajectory of where it was going to go. And I think also as well, it's kind of disrespectful to kind of consider that the managers and coaches and the teams that he had around him at Spurs, at Lazio, at the teams that he went to, did him a disservice by not keeping him in check, and that only Sir Alex Ferguson could have helped him.
mm,
He'd have done that. People with addictions, they do what they want to do. That's what they're going to do. They'll find a way to do it. And
first.
I don't think Sir Alex Ferguson would have been the miracle worker that everyone thought. It might have changed his trajectory,
Mhm.
but it did not right now. So that's the only facts that you can have in place. So yeah,
And
Gazza, top player though.
we signed the God,
Yeah,
didn't we?
Eric
So there
Cantona.
you go.
Yeah, of
And yeah,
course.
and Manchester United
Little
would
facts,
not
little
have
facts
put.
about Gazza
Yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
little facts about Gazza.
All right.
He when he was at Spurs, our school in Haywood had to write off to a football team, like to like get them to send a letter back, like an official letter back. It was just as practice to like writing letters as a kid. And Spurs were the only ones that wrote back. I think it was Spurs and Southampton. One of the lads in my class had Southampton. Spurs sent me Spurs sent me a football that had been signed by Gazza, Gary Lineker, and a few of the other players, and a program and a letter to Nathan. It's,
Really?
it's in an attic somewhere. I don't know where it is, but unless my mum
Brilliant.
sold it. She
Yeah,
has
well,
got a
yeah.
gold. She has got a gold top hat. I don't know where she got that from recently, but
Yeah.
maybe she
Well,
did.
with Cantona, United now, just want to say, would not be the team that we are, this biggest team in the world, if
Mm,
it wasn't for Eric Cantona. Completely turned around our fortunes and can't be underestimated, whatever he did. So if you're saying, oh, you get Cantona, you miss out on him, you always pick Cantona.
yeah,
Simple.
yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yes.
And even my dog is named Eric after Eric
Eric.
Cantona. So there we go. There we go. The last few that I've got, the last three that I've got in the went well after missing out on the first target. Arjun Robin. Do you remember who we went for after that? Again, a Peter Kenyon production because he offered less and then ended up at bloody Chelsea after he messed this deal up. Who did Arjun Robin
Who
lead
did,
to?
who did
Indirectly, I
Robin?
would say. Again, this one.
No, go on.
Well, Rooney.
Well, right, okay, yeah. Well, I'll take that. I'll take that every day. Take that every day. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Indirectly again, but the pursuit was Arden Robin trying to bring him in. Brilliant player, love Arden Robin, but Wayne Rooney. I mean, put your medals on the table. Robin didn't do too bad actually. I mean, he won everything wherever he went. I think
Mm,
he
mhm.
definitely had a great career at Bayern after he left Chelsea. So yeah, I think. But Wazza, it's got to be Wazza,
Wazza.
isn't it? Wazza.
It's always Wazza.
John Obi Mikel, Chris's mate
Mm.
and fellow podcaster, John Obi Mikel, 2006 United were deep into that one
He
until
had his shirt, his name on the
yeah,
shirt, didn't he, and everything. Yeah.
until shenanigans happened. But who did we get instead of John Obi Mikel?
Carrick? Was it Carrick?
Wee!
Oh, he's done all right there, Crawford, hasn't
There it is,
he?
lad.
Michael
There
Carrick.
it is.
Yeah.
That's the boy. That's the boy we know. Yeah, it was Michael Carrick, now manager of Manchester United, of course. So
Mm,
that one worked out okay as well. John
did.
Obi Mikel, I'm not saying that this when we say it went well, it's not that those players turned out to be crap. Like John Obi Mikel went on to have a fantastic career at Chelsea, linchpin in those Jose Mourinho teams. Um,
Mm.
I was actually gutted when we missed out on him for United. Like, because I remember reading about him being like, "Oh yes, this is the keen player that we
Mm.
want. This is the one that's going to
Yeah.
come in and going to be that destroyer that we want in there." So yeah, I was gutted when he didn't end up doing it. But yeah, Michael Carrick, the metronome,
Okay.
can't be
Take Carrick over Mikel.
mm,
Definitely.
fair. And then the last one I've got, Eden Hazard, another player that ended up going to Chelsea. Do you know when I was doing the research on this, I couldn't believe that that these two players changed clubs at the same time. I thought my numbers were completely off. Eden Hazard. Who did United get instead of Eden Hazard?
Talking wingers. Talking wingers.
No, I'm talking star players. So
Oh, right. Okay.
that's a little clue for you. Sir Alex Ferguson's last season.
Robin.
There we go.
Robin van
I know
Persie.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Van
yeah,
Persie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Robin van Persie.
Robin van Persie. Yeah. Van Persie. Yeah. Hey, that went all right, didn't it? So that was the same year, was it?
It was, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I thought the timings were completely different, but yeah, he joined from Lille in
Yes, that's right.
2012.
How much for it? It's around about 30 mil. It's a lot of money they paid for him, wasn't it? Back in, because
It
he was
was,
like
yeah.
the wonder kid everywhere that everyone was talking about, and he got glowing reports. And quite rightly so, because Eden Hazard in his prime was outstanding.
It
But
was.
that season we got from Van Persie. You don't
Yeah.
you don't say, oh, we'll have him instead of Van Persie, do you? Because fantastic season.
So it does lead though nicely onto where it all went wrong, because do you remember the player we obviously bought Van Persie as a star player, but do you remember who we bought as the winger instead of Eden Hazard? Or not even a winger, but the attacking midfielder. So we bought a midfielder that didn't he came with a lot of promise but didn't quite hit the heights. I'm just gonna tell you.
Anderson? Anderson?
No, no. Remember, Anderson was way before that.
Yeah, I know. Go.
Shinji Kagawa.
Really? Okay.
Kagawa never quite hit the heights that we wanted him to. Fair play though. He wasn't at United he wasn't under Ferguson for very long. I think it was just that one season, right? And then he was off, and then it was David Moyes, and well, the rest is history with that. Great servant to Manchester United, Kagawa, but just never hit those creative heights. I think what we were kind of expecting to have at that time was like a Bruno Fernandes. Like what Bruno is doing now, the assists and being able to grab a goal as well. Look like a Japanese Paul Scholes is what we thought we were getting, I guess, but didn't quite work out that way. Moving swiftly on, Thiago. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was a
Oh, it was
rough one.
horrible.
That was a rough
Yes,
one
it
for
was.
David Moyes. That was a rough one.
Yeah. Well,
And who did we
it was
get?
meant to be Cesc Fabregas and Thiago and Tony Cruz, wasn't it? And you're like, oh, and Gareth Bale. What if some of that have been? And we got the big man, Marouane Fellaini, didn't we?
It was. I like
Yeah.
Fellaini. I like Fellaini, but he was not the midfield metronome that we needed at that point in
He was
time. He
not
was
the
a
answer.
battering ram, and had always been a battering ram for Everton. All elbows, all hair, and I think, to be honest, he's a cult hero for United. I thought, because he won did he win FA Cup and League Cup at United?
Yeah, I think he did, to be fair, didn't he? Under
But
Mourinho. Well, I think he won some things under Mourinho, didn't he? So,
yeah, but
is that right?
he was a pressure deadline. A transfer deadline day dash, wasn't he? Like,
Yes.
we got to get him in. So a little bit like Juan Mata as well. It was flies in his helicopter, falls out with Jose Mourinho, and then we're picking off their leftovers. But Juan Mata had a great career as well at Manchester United, I feel. Not well, a decent career, let's say that. Tony Cruz is also on there. Tony Cruz, when we missed out on him because we wanted to go big with a player, who did we end up buying at a then British record, mate?
No, go on.
Angel Di Maria.
Yeah. I'm thinking
Now,
like for like here, but yeah. That,
yeah, it's not always like for like. It's
no,
sometimes who do we
just get
spend
someone
the
through the
big
door.
bucks on? Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like so
Yeah.
so to relate it back to what we've currently been talking about, it's the if we miss out on Mateus Fernandez, where does that 80 million get spent? We'll come on to the worst example of that in a minute, but we're working our way down the list, and it's when you miss out on that, and it's like, oh right, okay, well we've got to take this. Have they been good? You get Ronaldinho, you get Cristiano Ronaldo. You also get, are we going to get Tony Cruz? No. Right, we're going to sign Angel Di Maria, who didn't want to leave Real Madrid really. Hated every second in Manchester, had his house broken into while I was there. his missus was slating the weather in Manchester like she'd never even checked the forecast there ever before and looked up what the climate's like in Manchester. Yeah, just a terrible signing for many reasons for him and for the club. Just desperate during Ed Woodward's crazy phase. I don't think he ever came out of the crazy phase until he left. N'Golo Kante. Now, this was a little bit of a surprising one. I had to dig back in to this one to try and work out where this connection came from. But if you go back, there were rumours and there were reports that he was their number one target after Leicester won the league. And they were in for him, and it looked like they were going to get it over the line. But I think United were having trouble negotiating with Leicester after the Harry Maguire one. So they were struggling. They were struggling to get a fair price because Woodward's a wet blanket. Who did they sign that summer in 2016? Mr. Paul Pogba. Again, I'm rating that as a miss. And two completely different profiles of midfielder.
Yes,
I just thought, and a big, Billy Big Balls.
Yeah, so you're saying we couldn't negotiate a fair price, but then we paid a stupid amount of money for Pogba. But it was packaged as this, bring in the next superstar. And I remember us, Nathan, going, wow, we're getting him back. We're doing this, we're doing that. And
we was all excited about it. We was all excited about it. Let's not rewrite history here. We were all excited about it. But when you look back...
Hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? And the right thing to do would have been to pay an extra $5 million for N'Golo Kante, who probably would have gone on to be the best midfielder in the world if he. Well, it probably was anyway. But if he was in a Manchester United shirt, he would have been everything for us, money. But that I'd put that down as a miss as well.
Yeah. This one's a massive one, and this is one that I'll never forgive Manchester United for. He's banging in the goals at the World Cup right now. And he was recommended by a certain Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and they could have got him for about 2 million or maybe even less. Maximum 5 million for this player. Erling Haaland. Haaland missed out on him. And we replaced that target. Oh, it's all right. We'll just get Igavo, a lad who's played for Watford on a free transfer. We'll get him in. In fact, did he come in on loan? He came in on loan.
Yeah, he did. Didn't he? He did, yeah. So are you having that as a hit or miss, Nathan? What, yeah.
Yeah. Hang on, let me think. Let me crunch the numbers. There we go. Yeah. That was a bad one, that. That was a rough one.
Certainly was. But well, at the same time, a similar one was Jude Bellingham, wasn't it? So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted the pair.
That was the next one.
Yeah, sorry to jump in. He wanted the pair of them, didn't he? So
he did.
Big misses there. The whole point of it, like you said, Nathan, is you can't have everyone, can you? You can't go panicking when players don't sign for Manchester United because there will be a next option. The thing is with Ineos, we can't afford to miss out on a Haaland and a Bellingham, can we? We're not in a situation to be doing that. But you need to make sure you need to get them right, don't you? You can't afford these misses because we've done that too many times over the past 20 years. You need to have some hits as well.
However, I think the key to what you're talking about is to be prepared for missing out on that target so that you have got the money that is going to be spread around. Right, okay, we missed out 120 million. We had 100 million earmarked, let's say, for Elliot Anderson. We was going to go to that limit. Right, what happens? What's the contingency plan if we can't get him? And then that's when Ineos earn their crust, so to speak. That's when they come into their own. Right, okay, well, we're going to spend the money here and here because we can strengthen these areas. It can't just be, right, we've got 100 million to spend. Right, okay, Elliot Anderson's not available. He's gone to Manchester City. What are we going to spend it on? I don't know. Give 100 million to West Ham for Mateus Fernandes. Do you know what I mean? They just go to overpaying for the player because they've
just to get it done, just to get something done. It needs to be done cleverly, doesn't it? Yeah.
Exactly. Tom Cleverly. We ended up getting Donny van der Beek in that, and obviously, poor Donny. I do feel for him.
Did we have him down as the worst signing ever for United in the past 20 years? He was up there, wasn't he? He was definitely in the top 3 or 4, wasn't he?
In terms of what he gave United, his injury record and the initial outlay, he was one of the worst signings for Manchester United. This one, thought it was controversial, but I thought I'll throw it out there anyway. So when we missed out on Frankie de Jong under Ten Hag, we then brought in a certain Casemiro.
Mm.
Now, Frankie de Jong versus Casemiro. Did we miss with that signing, or did we hit with that signing? Was it better to get Casemiro, or was it worse to get Casemiro?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I love Frankie de Jong. I think I put it in the chat the other day. I just
Yeah,
love
you
watching
did.
every time he's playing. I just put Frankie de Jong on, love it, just because I love watching centre midfield like that. Call it a draw. Can I call it a draw with that one? 'Cause I think the
No,
Casemiro
no,
one when it's
no fence,
yeah.
no fence
Do you know
sitting
what?
off the fence. Go on, jump on one
After
side.
watching that farewell video for Casemiro, I'm going to say it was a hit because
Ah,
that was he's come down as he's turned out to be, like you say, another cult hero, Casemiro. I think, can he,
mate,
for
that
Manchester United?
video.
So
If you haven't watched it, immediately turn this off now and go and watch it because it is fantastic. Like the whole video. If you're time pressed, just go and watch the last few minutes to see what Manchester United meant to Casemiro, a man that had won multiple titles and Champions Leagues with Real Madrid, who has achieved the highest heights with Real Madrid. And look at how he feels about leaving Manchester United. He barely won a thing, but the lad's in tears. And yeah, it got to me, that goosebumps, because it made me
juices.
feel like you often see that. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but you often look at players and you think they don't care about this club. They only care about the money that they're making, and that's it. But Casemiro in that interview, it made me feel like there are players in that squad that do care about Manchester United as much as we do as fans. They do care about the heritage. They do care about getting it back to the top. They do care about what happens in the day to day. And yeah, it was fantastic. So I'm going to class that one as a hit as well. Frankie de Jong
Just
got injured for like a year after that. Anyway, I think.
yeah, there was also a thing that I'll just put this on it, which made me go over. Frankie, we chased him, and he kept saying, "I don't want to leave Barcelona," and that's the
Yes,
position we should be in now as Manchester United, saying we don't want to come out, move on.
exactly.
So yeah, yes,
Exactly. But they didn't have the football people in place at that point. It was
no,
just the Glazers, and was it Woodward at the time with that?
yeah, I
It would have
think
been,
it was,
wouldn't
to
it?
be fair. Yeah, I think
And
it
and
was.
he didn't know what he was doing, and it was like, just keep chasing him, just keep chasing him. And yeah, didn't know when
He
to
said
take
no
the
like
knock on
5
after.
times, didn't he? And
Yeah.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
like, "Right,
Well, you have to wonder
great."
why they're saying yes now. And I think it is to do with the fact that Manchester United behind the scenes, in terms of like Woodward and the setup that was going on there, it was probably being spread around the football world that this is not a sustainable place to be. If you go there, it's like, it's crackers. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know where you're going to be playing. You don't know who the manager's going to be. You can't go somewhere that's not stable. So I think that's changing now, and that you can say that's because of Ineos and the things that they put in place. So fair play to them on that. The last one that I'm going to do, and this is a big one, we went for Karim Benzema. It was one of the things that we really wanted. We really, really wanted Karim Benzema 2022. No, not 2022. That's
No, it
way
must have been
too late.
before then.
No, it was before that. It was basically when Ronaldo left. It was when Ronaldo
Right,
left. So we wanted him. Was that 2009? Was it 2009 when he left?
possibly. Yeah, it will have been around there, won't it?
It was 2009.
Yes.
But
Oh,
we,
when you get to our age, mate, they all blur into one, don't
I
they,
know
usually?
exactly, like birthdays, mate. But the Karen Benzema one, again, I thought that one was going to be done. We missed out on
Mhm.
him after Ronaldo, and we thought that he was going to come in, and this is the striker that we need. He was the new Van Nistelrooy, so to speak,
Yeah.
and we didn't get him. And I mean, you can even put two players on this. When we got rid of Ronaldo, the player that we got in,
Put 3 on. Put the
when
3 on there, Nathan.
well, the player, because it's slightly different to what we're talking about. So we miss out on a transfer target. Let's talk about that bit first. Miss out on Karim Benzema. This is one where you go, right, okay, well, we've really got to get a striker in. Who are we going to get? I'll tell you what, we'll get Mike Owen on a free transfer. Barring his great goal in the derby, the last minute one, which we will always cherish, That signaled to me United are not a serious football club anymore, because that signing was dreadful. And then to replace Ronaldo, again, going off on the tangent, but I know that's what you want to talk about. To replace Ronaldo with Antonio Valencia, a great player, fantastic player for Manchester United, but not on that level at all. Not going to replace those goals, regardless. And Gabriel Obertan was the other player. That, for me, that's miss out on your target and, pardon the French, but shit the bed on the other side. That's insane for me. Unreal.
Never
And
really
that's what
recovered from that, did we?
and
As a
no, we
club.
didn't. And that's the issue. That's been the problem ever since then. They've been known as a club that would just panic buy, and it's
Mhm.
caught us out every time. Look at the Harry Maguire deal. They told us it was going to be like, was it 70, 80 million at the start of
80
the
million,
window?
wasn't it?
Said
Yep.
said it was 80 million at the start of the window. They went, oh no, we're not paying that. And then comes to the end of it because they can't bring anyone else in. It's 80 million again. I think they ended up paying slightly more for him. So yeah, disaster, disaster. Enjoyed that though, going back through the annals
Good.
of time. I will say though, with all that in mind, do focus on the positives. When you're thinking about Manchester United and you're feeling a bit stressed about the fact that they haven't signed Mateus Fernandes, that they haven't signed Sandro Tonali, Carlos Baliba, Elliot Anderson, all of these players, when you're thinking we haven't got those players, console yourself with the next person in that is on that list could be even better. It could be a Cristiano Ronaldo, could be an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, rather than a Michael Owen.
Or an Eric Cantona.
Exactly.